BK. Fly by King. Wheels through the lane, now spins back. Ja hangs, puts it in! Oh, what a shot by Morant in the clutch! So hot. Oh, Jared said no! Because he doesn't quit on the play, comes up with a monster block.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Morant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Bain drives.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Close. He hits and the Grizzlies have the lead.
Yeah!
Jared with a knockaway.
Good defense.
Morant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go, let's go.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from Midtown Manhattan, New York City. Bennett Doyle back in Memphis, producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you didn't give up on your Memphis Grizzlies when, they fell behind last night when Ja Morant was struggling from the field, both from 2 and 3, because, oh, buddy, it got going. It got going eventually. They called 12. He answered. Got it to overtime. Took over. Grizzlies beat the Suns in OT. Fun night inside FedEx Forum. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, about 20 minutes, Chris Vernon going to join me. He, of course, is host of the Chris Vernon Show weekdays, noon, Grind City Media. He was inside FedEx Forum last night for the Grizzlies' big victory over Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and the Suns. I'll chop it up with Vernon about the Grizz and Luka Doncic putting a triple-double on the Mavericks. Vernon's going to join me in about 20 minutes. Finish talking to him, take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories, among them Penny Hardaway's Tigers will return to the court tonight inside FedEx Forum. It's another game with Owls, another Quad 4 game against Owls. We'll get you ready for that in about 40 minutes. It was a good night for the SEC last night because bubbly Georgia upset Florida, and now the league has 13 projected NCAA tournament teams. The record is 11, so we're watching history whether you know it or not. I'll get you updated on the numbers. We'll do it in just a bit. We almost had another plane collision yesterday.
What the hell?
What in the hell, Bennett?
I saw the video.
This one was in Chicago. It's a crazy visual. We're going to show it to you a little later on in the show. First-year Titans general manager Mike Borgonzi has acknowledged that he's had conversations with other NFL franchises who might be interested in obtaining the Titans. Bennett, what are you so upset about? Don't you like to have options? Don't you like to have a general manager who's exploring all of his options? I'll ask Bennett what he wants Mike Borgonzi to do. We'll do that in the second hour. And happy retirement to Joy Lee McNellis, former women's basketball coach at the University of Memphis, has announced she's leaving the sport after what is her 21st season at Southern Miss. Incredible career for a fellow Mississippian who is always, I don't know. I just always really liked Joy Lee McNellis. I first watched her as a kid coaching the University of Memphis, and then as a college student got to be around her. As a reporter at the Commercial Appeal, got to be around her. Have followed her journey throughout the years. Happy for her to get to walk away on her own terms like this. We'll celebrate the career of Joy Lee McNellis. We'll do it during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out. We'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start first by just apologizing for my voice. This is about the best I got right now. And
I really was wondering if you're going to make it through that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. We reach this point every college basketball season where I don't necessarily feel bad, although I don't feel great. But more than that, I just can't speak anymore. Like I lose. It's like you're reaching for words and they're just not there. So I was struggling last night in studio, just finished the Eye on College Basketball podcast, was sipping Dayquil through that just to try to coat my throat just to get through it. So if I sound bad, don't worry. I feel mostly okay. But, I apologize. There's going to be times where I just run out of breath. And I don't think it means I'm dying. It just means that quite literally every February during basketball season when I'm probably not sleeping or doing anything else the way that doctors would suggest, this is just something that happens. I've lived through it every time so far, so I'm going to assume that I'm going to live through it again. Let's start with your Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay.
Game 58 of a scheduled 82. It was played last night in downtown Memphis. Fun one. 12 was called. He answered. And the Grizzlies defeated the disappointing Suns, the forever disappointing Suns, in overtime. Final score 151-148. After trailing by double digits in the game and then by as many as 6 points in the fourth quarter, the Grizzlies found themselves with the ball down 2 points, 5.4 seconds remaining. I know what I would do in that situation. Ring, 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 ring. The Grizzlies called 12, and after he'd already provided highlights, including one where he caught an alley-oop, put his eyes on the rim, Ja Morant had more highlights to deliver, so the Grizzlies called him. Let's watch what happened next at the end of regulation.
Morant drives for the tie. It's in with 1.4.
So now we're headed to overtime, and in overtime with the game in the balance and the Grizzlies up a point, once again, wisely, they put the ball in Ja Morant's hands, and once again, something good happened when they put the ball in Ja Morant's hands. Here's that sequence that basically determined the game at the end of overtime.
Oh, dangerous pass. Morant has it. Morant, Royce O'Neal trying to take a foul. Jalen Williams with 9.1.
So there we have it. That's what we've been talking about, right? Isn't it, Bennett? 29 points, 8 assists for Ja Morant. He struggled for much of the game, finished 7 of 25 from the field, 1 of 12 from 3, but he took over in the fourth, dominated overtime, answered the call, delivered. That's the type of stuff you wanted to see, whether it's the basketball stuff or just the emotion stuff. Like there were big smiles, there were real celebrations, there was a thoughtful media availability session in the locker room that he conducted. He had a good post-game interview. Like we had been talking as recently as within the past week, like, what's wrong with Ja? Is he going to get going? Is he in a funk? If so, can you pull him out of it? And last night, I don't want to overstate it, but, it felt like a breakthrough, or at least felt like something that could be.
It was awesome for him to have that moment because make no mistake, he was frustrated like throughout most of that game. He went until that fourth quarter in overtime. So that was really cool. Also, that last play that you showed, the overtime play, I can't believe they got a bucket there. Like I think everyone in the building thought they were going to the free throw line. And the fact that they were able to get a bucket and ultimately win that game there was awesome as well. Coming into the game last night, GP, I felt good about it. I think a lot of people did because the Suns aren't good. But then I'm sitting there I go set up all my equipment and I'm sitting there and watching guys come out and do their pregame stuff. And There comes Bradley Beal, and he's doing his pregame warm-ups. And then here comes Devin Booker, and he's doing his pregame warm-ups. And then, here comes Kevin Durant, he's doing his pregame warm-ups. And I'm like, oh, shoot, man. Like, this might not be as easy as people think it could be. I don't know how many games those three guys have played together this season, but it can't be that many. And again, I know they're not a good team, but that was a good win last night for the Grizzlies. That was a great game. Like, it was an awesome night in the building. So good stuff. Good stuff today.
Obviously, I was in studio here, CBS Sports Network, but had it streaming, and yeah, just fun game. Like, when Ja gets the highlight, and I didn't want to spend the whole opening segment just showing you Ja Morant highlights, but I could have. Like, he put his eyeballs on the rim,
right?
Like, had to avoid the rim. And so you're calling that out in the broadcast center and showing that to everybody. And then, of course, the shot at the end of regulation to get to overtime. And then the play he makes, like, that's all self-created. I know Jalen Wells gets the dunk that secures the win. Ja Morant created that entire thing, obviously. And Jalen Wells had another type of performance that enhances his Rookie of the Year candidacy. It was just a good night on a variety of levels for the franchise. And I saw this late last night from Sean Coleman, who is on Twitter /X at StatsSAC. He put on Twitter, since per shot data began in the 1996-97 season. So, like, we're talking a long time now. I thought this was interesting. 200 NBA players have attempted more than 10 career shots to either tie or take a lead with 2 or fewer seconds left in the fourth or in the overtime period of a game. So we got a lot of qualifiers here, but you get the point. Since 96-97, only 200, or as many as 200, however you want to frame that, 200 players have attempted more than 10 career shots to either tie or take the lead with 2 or less seconds remaining in the fourth quarter or the overtime period of a game. And of the 200, only one of the 200 who qualify has made at least 50% of those such shots. And it is not Kobe Bryant, and it is not LeBron James, and it is not Michael Jordan. It is Ja Morant. Ja Morant is the one of the 200 who's shooting at least 50% from the field on those such shots. I know that Call 12 is a thing in Memphis, but that should be a thing everywhere. Like, when he is asked to deliver in those moments, he does it at a better rate than quite literally anybody who's been playing basketball since I was in college. Like, that's what that number suggests to you.
Yeah, it was awesome. And it was making the rounds last night too. Like, you were getting a lot of the Call 12 love last night. I saw a bunch of the big accounts tweeting it out. No, man, it was really good. Like, he, again, I said, maybe his body language, he was clearly frustrated for a lot of that game last night. But Jaren fouls out, and Ja had 5 fouls too. Jaren fouls out in that game, and you just knew that it was going to be up to him to lead them to the victory last night for sure.
When you talk about body language, that had been, if not a thing, because whoever knows whether this stuff is really things or not, but it had been something that people had noticed and discussed and wondered about. And then, I guess it sort of gets lost given how great and fun the game was and how it unfolded and how it ended and what happened. But in yesterday's daytime availability, John was pretty candidly discussing social media and explaining how he just does not enjoy it. He has to be on it because he has sponsorships and obligations. And, when different companies are giving you quite literally millions of dollars, they're going to expect you to use your social media platforms and their vast reach to help promote their products and move their products. So, that's part of the job, as they say. But he did sort of acknowledge what I had assumed for a while, which is it's not a fun place for him. I imagine it was once upon a time, but I can't imagine that it has been in recent years, because of off the court stuff, because of
the club, bro.
A variety of reasons. Yeah, but even if you think you have a weird time on social media, or I have a weird time on social media, it is nothing compared to what Ja Morant deals with. I might get called names by 11 people a day who don't like where I rank their basketball team. Whatever. You can criticize the Indiana basketball program or that fan base, and a couple of weirdos will like actually play into the narrative and prove your point by saying ridiculous things online. I don't even blink at that stuff anymore. Ja deals with that times a million. Like, whenever you're bored and things aren't going well for him on the court or in any way, just go to Twitter and get in that search engine and type in Ja Morant and hit return and see all the stuff that pops up. It can't be fun to look at. And so I have assumed for a while that that's just a miserable place for him to be. And, he acknowledged that a little after we got off the show yesterday, that, yeah, he had deactivated some social media stuff because, like, it's just not a fun place to be. So you never know, like, how the rest of that day is going to unfold. But by the time everything was over and we'd played, 4 quarters plus an overtime period, like, his pregame comments just didn't really matter anymore. We got the call 12 stuff. We got him answering that ring and delivering in the way you want your superstars to deliver. And I do think it, can reasonably circle us back to the comments Kendrick Perkins had made over the weekend. I think he was misguided to suggest or imply or even definitively say that Jaren Jackson Jr. can't be the Grizzlies' best player in a 7-game series, because of course he can be, and he might be, whether it's in a first-round series or an NBA Finals. Like, Jaren Jackson Jr. is talented enough and good enough to be the Grizzlies' best player in any 7-game series, particularly when you understand that 7-game series can only be 4 games sometimes. But if what Kendrick Perkins was trying to say is that the Grizzlies can't be the Grizzlies and everything some of us think they can be without Ja Morant being great, yeah, I agree with that. He needs to be great. For the Grizzlies to compete with the Thunder, compete with the Nuggets, try to get to a final so you can play the Cavs or the Celtics or whomever, it's going to require, a lot of different things. Health, probably the most important among them. But it will also require, like, a prerequisite to it is Ja Morant being great. We've gone through all the numbers. We don't have to do it again. He has not been great, not consistently great this season. He's had great moments, incredible highlights, but he has not been consistently great. And he wasn't consistently great last night. That game was miserable for him up until it wasn't. But, buddy, when it was time to go, he went. And that's special. Not everybody's built to do that, particularly when they're struggling. Some guys aren't built to do that even when they're not struggling, to want the ball in their hands and to be confident enough and gifted enough to go make the plays, whether it's make the shot or make the play and make the pass. He did all of it last night. He delivered. And that's the biggest thing he brings to the table, and why, when you read reports from various other people about the Grizzlies maybe looking to move Ja Morant at the age of 25, no, sir. That's not something you do. If you're unhappy with certain aspects of certain things, you work on those things. You don't give up on 25-year-olds that are that talented. You don't give up on 25-year-olds who have that mindset. Again, that stat Sean Coleman delivered last night, that means something to me. Since per shot data became a thing in the 96-97 season, 200 NBA players have attempted more than 10 career shots to either tie or take the lead with 2 seconds or less left in the fourth or in overtime, and only one of the 200 is shooting at least 50% from the field on such shots. It's Ja Morant. That is not because he's the best shooter or the best anything among players who have played in this span and qualified for what we're talking about. That's a mental thing. That's a mindset thing. That's a being built for it type of thing. He's built for it. We've known that for a while. He showed us again last night. Chris Vernon's up next.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Morant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
Norris one-handed on the feed.
If you go to a hustle game, you're going to see a very fast-paced game. A lot of action, both offensively, defensively.
Nice rejection right there.
In a great environment at the Landers Center. You could bring family there, kids are running around.
Down the lane and one for Zion Poland.
And then you're going to see a lot of talented basketball players competing at a high level.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. Bennett Doyle back inside the Built Ford Tough studio, Memphis, Tennessee. And Chris Vernon is the host of the Chris Vernon Show. Weekdays noon, Grind City Media. Joins me on Wednesdays today. He's here right now. Look at him. He's here right now. Hey, Chris Vernon, how are you on this Wednesday?
Way better than I almost was.
I know.
I was just talking to Rosa and Devin, and I said that was so close to an all-time grumpy Grizzly. And look, I am thrilled that it played out the way that it did. But honestly, I feel like we dodged one of the biggest bullets. In fact, we went back and watched it, and I said, this is not one of those that, like, in retrospect, I'm going, wow, that was close. At the moment, if you go back at the end of that game, they're going to have a shot to go win the game. This is after the Ja ties it, right? Ja ties it, call 12. It's all we'll ever remember, right? Call 12, whatever. There was time left on the clock. They have a chance to have a game-winning shot. Phoenix does. Devin Booker is not available, okay? Everyone in the free world knows this ball is going to Kevin Durant. And anybody can go back and watch this. Under the basket, there's kind of a jostling around. We have Desmond Bane lined up on Kevin Durant, and I am screaming. Like, this can't be, right? Put Santi on it. But Santi's like on Grayson Allen. I'm like, what is happening? What is happening? And if you go back and watch, Kevin Durant catches the baseline, turns around, shoots right over Desmond Bane, and just happens to miss. And I was like, I would have killed him for that. Like, that is crazy. Well, I don't know what we were doing, but it was like everybody's going crazy because Josh just made this shot. Oh, my God, Josh back. Call 12. We're all going crazy. And then we lined up out of their timeout, and I'm like, no, this can't happen. He's just going to catch and shoot over him. And he did, and thank God he missed it. And then obviously, you know, the way the overtime went. But that was so close to having our hearts ripped out right after. And it just goes to show, right? Like, it's a make or miss league. And I even said this on our postgame show last night. Like, when you're in a game like that, there's going to be one shot that determines the entire tenor of this post-game show and then the way we talk about that game forever.
Oh, sure.
And thank God that one shot didn't go in.
Right, because it changed. Not only does it change the outcome, it changes the mood. It changes.
Oh, my God.
Instead of spending 12 minutes talking about, man, is this a turning point for Ja Morant? You spend 12 minutes going, God, he was terrible from the field again last night. What are we going to do?
And your only win over the course of the past couple of weeks is this 1-point squeaker that you had at Orlando where you were down 19. I mean,
Right.
It all adds up. It all adds up,
sure.
right? And that's what we say. One game could change everything. And hopefully this gives them a ton of momentum going into Friday playing against New York, because that's going to be obviously a monster game for them. And I think one of those that fans want to prove their worth. They have also had their struggles against good teams. You and I were both at the one in New York.
Right.
And New York destroyed them. But New York has fallen apart defensively over the course of the last month and has not played nearly as well as they were when they first faced the Grizzlies. And so hopefully you get a little momentum and you feel good about yourself going into that one after last night.
I mean, Friday's going to be huge. Just like the Knicks being good is awesome. The Knicks being good and in town on a Friday night is awesome. It happening not too long after they embarrassed you at the Garden, about 20 blocks that way. And I do think we've reached the point in the season where it's interesting where the conversations start and then where they land and who it participates in them. My point being this. It's been obvious for a while that the Grizzlies' record was largely built on wins against not-so-great teams, and they were struggling, relatively speaking, against the better teams, top 6 in the East, top 6 in the West, whatever. But still, you could mostly focus on, well, they're second in the West and, this and that, whatever. It's now gotten to a point where, I don't think you got to be a diehard on Twitter every night, living and dying with it, to know that that is a narrative that exists, that they've beaten the bad teams and struggled with the good teams. And so Friday night, coming off a massive win, a fun win over Phoenix, you get an opportunity to not just pay back the Knicks for what they did to you, because I don't even know what that really means, but you get an opportunity to say, hey, we're playing one of the best teams in the East. These are the types of teams we've been struggling with. Now watch, we're going to go beat them. That means something.
Well, and also in fairness, it's not just a conversation that is had here, because it's being had all over the place. Interestingly enough, there aren't that many good teams that are beating good teams all the time. In fact, and to wit, the Knicks are having an amazing season. But the conversation is how they don't beat the best teams, and they're so far away from the Celtics, right? And this weekend, the hottest team in the league was the Denver Nuggets. The second they lost to the Lakers, it was, but you go back and look, and their 9-game win streak is really against nobody, and they haven't really beat anybody, and they've really got 2 signature wins all year. And then, look, inevitably, if the Lakers lose some games coming up, people are going to go back and look and go, they kind of beat Dallas when they didn't have any of their guys, and they beat, that Denver win was really good. But other than that, right, so everybody is in the business of poking holes in the records that people have right now. But the truth is, there aren't a lot of teams that are out there that have been great against the best teams. Most of them, at best, it's a mixed bag, and a lot of them have losing records or 500 records against the other teams that are pretty good. I think it speaks to there is an insane amount of parity this year, and it just matters which night you catch these teams on.
Back to Ja Morant. Sean Coleman tweeted the following fact last night, that since per-shot data began in the 96-97 season, 200 NBA players have attempted more than 10 career shots to either tie or take a lead with 2 or less seconds left in the fourth quarter or overtime. And only one of the 200 is shooting at least 50% on such shots. It is Ja Morant. What that means to me is, he's not the best shooter, obviously. If you go look at field goal percentages, he's not going to be the best at that in these span of decades. But I think that's a mindset thing. You are either wired to embrace those moments and flourish in those moments, or you're wired to struggle in those moments. And he seems to be the latter more than the former. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Brevin talked about this a lot during the postgame and as well during the broadcast, that what you have to remember is that there are still very few guys in the league that actually have that it factor. Like the one that it doesn't matter what kind of game they've had. It doesn't matter what kind of struggles they've had. They're ready, willing, and able to take the last shot, the next shot, the biggest shot, because they're built for it. And there ain't that many guys that are built for those moments. And every once in a while, he reminds us that, like, honestly, I got to be honest, Bennett was sitting next to me. You know the conversation we had. It was like, do we want a Bane 3? I said, he's going to give the ball to Ja. You will vouch for me. I said, he's going to give the ball to Ja. And even if it means just tying it, right? Because they had an opportunity. They're down by 2. They can either go for this win right now. And Bennett and I were having the discussion, do you go for the win just because, I mean, geez, do you want to play 5 more minutes without Jaren?
Right.
Because Jaren's already fouled out of the game.
And look
it's
how
like,
the game's already gone for you.
Look at the way the game's already gone for you. So it's going to be interesting to see. But it was a clear out for Ja Morant. And honestly, I think, how many guys do you feel like if you're down 2, like I had crazy confidence that he was going to be able to get a shot and he was going to make that shot. But and that's the difference. That's the difference. There's not that many guys. It's at best a mixed bag, and at worst, it's like, oh God, I can't wait to see what this is. But he does it no matter what kind of game he's had. You have this belief that he's going to do it.
I have a belief that if you give him space, that he is going to typically get a easy shot.
Yep.
But like that was not an easy shot. Like
no.
he made a tough shot to get that to overtime.
Luckily, it was Brad Beal they had on him. Yes. Which again is stupid. Like I don't understand these guys. They got brain rot.
Well, like, do you always?
Is that your best? That's your best chance. Your best chance at stopping him is Brad. Okay, I mean, look, obviously that's the problem with the Suns is that right? You got a 1 possession, you got to get a stop, and Brad Beal's the guy that you're gonna go, to war with on that. I mean, look, Ja Morant could score on Bradley Beal 99 out of 100 times.
So there's that one, and then there's the Desmond Bane on Kevin Durant thing. Like I've very rarely been close to an NBA huddle, but on the sideline for college basketball games, I've been in college basketball huddles all the time, and I can just tell you, it is incredible how often I listen to coaches with great detail tell their players exactly what to do, and I watch that huddle break, and it's like the coach said nothing.
Oh, I know.
mean, I cannot tell you how many times I've watched coaches say, this is exactly what we're doing. Boom, 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 boom. If this happens, boom. If this happens, boom. We're doing this. The last game I was on, Texas Tech, Arizona State. I'm in the Texas Tech huddle. Arizona State is down to 12 seconds to go, 15 seconds to go. I'm in the Texas Tech huddle. Hilarious. Grant McCaslin is talking to his team. He says, you're on the inbounder. When he inbounds the ball, stay with him, face guard him, because he's going to try to get it back. Don't stay with him forever, but stay with him for a few seconds because they're going to try to get it back to him quickly. If they don't get it back to him quickly, then now we're playing. But stay with him initially. Everybody got it? All right. Horn blows. We're out. I swear to God, you can go look it up on YouTube. Arizona State inbounds it. They immediately give it right back to the inbounder. He is wide open and scores. It's like nothing that was said in that huddle even mattered when they got on the court. I'm not trying to excuse coaches, but I'm just saying sometimes the players do not do what they're supposed to do.
I don't know. I got that. I'm not giving Taylor Jenkins a pass on that one.
Okay, right.
There's one guy in the arena getting the ball.
I know.
It's the only thing that matters is who's guarding Kevin Durant. It's the only thing that matters. The only thing. There's one shot. Devin Booker's out. Kevin Durant is shooting this ball. End of story. And we're guarding it with a guy that comes up to his waist. I'm like, this game.
Damn.
What is that?
As long as we're talking, and a guy who was drafted way later than he probably should have been because his arms are about like mine.
A against the guy who also, by the way, has scored 30,000 NBA points.
Right.
It was crazy, man. Oh, man, I was so glad. We dodged a bullet for sure. And honestly, look, if you go back at my favorite Sean Coleman one was that when teams have had whatever it was like 25 plus assists and shot over 50% from three and like all these things that the Suns did, teams were 44-1. Like, you can't play better offensively and lose. And frankly, 148 should be able to win a game.
That should get it done, dude. That's it. 148.
That has to be soul crushing.
It's like one of the best scoring efforts we've ever seen in this building from an opposing team.
Hey, you want to know my favorite part about all of it? My favorite part was when we do the pregame show, Fish always has to do, at the end of the pregame show, he always has to do a FanDuel parlay. So he does a 3-team parlay. And he was like, and this one pays like 500 plus 500 and something, whatever, right? So he has to pick 3 things. Okay?
He took the unders.
Bro, he took the under. We walked to the postgame show. I said, the under, huh? And he goes, it only missed by 50.
Buddy,
50.
Hey, we've all been there.
He had the under. I was like, that was one of the highest scoring NBA games like ever. What did they say is the third highest Grizzlies total ever?
It has to be.
Yeah, I think 151 is the third highest ever. Crazy.
If you ain't ever had the under when it went over by 100 or the over when it went under by 100, I don't even know why you have a Venmo account.
Bro, I have lost games where I've had like college games where I've had under 59 and it's 10-7 going into the fourth.
Yes.
Only me. Only I lose that game.
It's outrageous. Hey, before I get you out of here, Bennett wanted me to talk about Luka Doncic and 5 more things, but I knew I wanted to talk to Luka Doncic here, and you can't then put that in 5 more things. But he did play last night against the Mavericks for the first time. The whole thing was incredible. He's doing push-ups right in front of Nico Harrison. Okay.
How about Nico? I'll give Nico credit
for sure.
Wearing a bright blue suit, sitting on the scorer's table, sitting in the crowd. Like, I mean, he showed up. You know what I mean?
Showed up.
They're chanting "Thank you, Nico" in the crowd. Yeah, the "Thank you, Nico" chant broke out.
Bro, I mean, I give him credit. I give him credit for doing that because, for goodness sakes, I don't think Sacramento still talked about firing Mike Brown. I don't think anybody's even acknowledged that happened. This guy. He's out there. He's also on the scores table. Like, there's that video of him talking with Rob Pelinka, and it's like, oh, geez, this is all. You know how awkward that whole thing just got to feel, and he let it be awkward. He let it be awkward.
It seems clear that he got too close to it. He couldn't see the forest for the trees, and he made a decision that's gonna. Like that, he'll carry that around forever. That's
God! Have you seen the one today? They're not done with the leaking.
I saw the hookah.
Oh yeah,
he smoked too much hookah.
Smokes too much hookah and drinks too much, and he's going to break down in 5 years.
He might. I can't predict who's going to break down and who isn't. But
look, my buddy Tim Bontemps said it best, and nobody believes it. And look, Tim doesn't either. Nobody does. It is the most unbelievable short in sports history.
Yes.
Like, no one would short that stock, and they are shorting the stock. They are saying everyone in the world believes something is going to be this. We believe that's not going to happen.
That's right.
He is not going to be what you are under the assumption that this is the worst trade in the history of the world because of what you think he's going to do and what he's going to be capable of. And we are the ones telling you we don't believe that he's going to be that and that he's capable of that. And so, look, somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong. I think nobody else, they're the only ones in the world that would short that stock.
Yes.
And the only argument would be, they're also the ones that know him best. and they are shorting it, and so maybe it should give you some cause for pause, but bunk all that. This dude's like one of the top 3 players in the world. Stop being stupid because he's not Kobe.
He put a triple-double on you last night. I'm sorry if his abs aren't great, but he put a triple-double on you last night. It's going to be one of those things where there is a chance, I don't rule this out, where they might prove to be right if his body just breaks down, right? But that'll be the only way. It'll have to be because he doesn't play enough. Because when he plays, he's good enough. You'll never be right if he plays. It's just if he doesn't play. And so if he doesn't play because he's forever banged up or hurt or injured or whatever, then you might be right. But to me, that's always going to be – sometimes if you play in blackjack, you'd be next to somebody and a dude might just hit a 19.
Yeah.
And you might get a 2 and be great, but like you just got, even if you're right when you hit 19, you just got lucky. It doesn't mean you were doing smart business, and that's what this is.
And you also made a crap trade.
Right. And you just made a
right.
Oh, and by the way, Anthony Davis can't play for you, and that's the guy you got. Anyway,
Right.
Whatever. All right, get over to the big studio. I'll see you later. That's Chris Vernon, host of the Chris Vernon Show. Weekdays, noon, Grind City Media. We come back. Penny Hardaway's Tigers back in FedEx Forum tonight. It's another game against the Owls, another Quad 4 game at home. We'll talk about it next. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Morant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing at FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
At the National Civil Rights Museum, history moves us forward. The question remains, how does history move you?
Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
Shinedown, Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either, and that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays in the evenings and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Penny Hardaway's Tigers are back inside FedEx Forum tonight. We got a 7 o'clock tip. It's a quad 4 game against some Owls, Bennett. Oh, we've been here before. You play in the AAC, there's one thing I can guarantee you're going to get, and that's a quad 4 game against some Owls. There's multiple opportunities to do it. You could do it against a Temple Owl. You could do it against a Rice Owl. Against a Florida Atlantic Owl, that's only going to be a quad 3. But the Temple Owl and the Rice Owl, quad 4. It's a quad 4 game at home against an Owl. You ready for it?
Well, we all know how this game went last year.
Bennett.
Yeah.
Bennett.
I'm just saying it completely derailed the season. I don't expect it to go that way this year. We've already seen Rice once this year, and they're not very good. They're not very good at all. So, it is like it is kind of eerily similar to last season where that was the USF game, I think, last year that had the bad weather. But the Rice game was still not I'm saying they're probably not going to have a sold-out crowd tonight. It's
or do we have bad weather in Memphis? Bennett, I ain't been in Memphis.
No. I'm just saying. Remember last year when they lost that USF game? It was because there was the bad weather and there was no crowd and just it was kind of dead in the arena. I'm not saying it's going to be that tonight. I'm just saying it's probably not going to be like a sold-out crowd at FedEx. So it's probably not going to be like the crowd was last night for the Grizzlies game, right? It's a Wednesday night against freaking Rice. I'm sorry. I'm just calling it like it is, all right?
I
hate the AAC. Fired up. Okay,
I was hoping you'd get me fired up.
Nah, dude. Again, get me out of this league for the 5,000th time. Nothing gets me less excited than Rice on a Wednesday night, okay? That being said, please just go blast this team. You're so much better than them. Tigers are playing well. They had the nice bounce back after the Wichita State loss. I would just love to see them come out and just annihilate this team.
Blast or annihilate, Bennett. I would take either one. You keep referencing that South Florida game last season for reasons that I don't understand. I don't know why you want to bring up, you want me to tell you the 5 worst things that's ever happened in my life so we can talk about them the rest of the day?
Well, dude. This is one of the last landmines, this is one of the last ones. You get past this one, you're feeling good. You're feeling really good, right?
Bennett, until we get to Selection Sunday, the landmines ain't done. We ain't got nothing but landmines in front of us between now and Selection Sunday.
A loss at UAB ain't gonna hurt my feelings, okay? Well, it will hurt my feelings, but I'm just saying, I'm not as concerned about that one.
When I battle for bones, I expect to win. I battle for bones, I expect to win.
No, don't get it twisted. I would like to embarrass them this weekend, but
let me tell you a couple things I subscribe to.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Go ahead.
When I'm playing an owl, I expect to win. All right. In no scenario I can think of should an owl ever defeat a tiger. All right.
No.
Okay. So when I'm in a fight with an owl, I expect to win. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, when I'm battling for bones, I expect to win. So you cannot be offended by a UAB loss, but a UAB loss would be a defeat in a battle for bones. And I'm not trying to lose a battle for bones. You seem very accepting of losing a battle for bones. That's not the Bennett Doyle I grew up with.
I know. Well, no, I'm going to get fired up for that game. We got to get through this one first, though. And again, I know we make fun of the Owls and how every opponent that we play in this godforsaken conference is an owl. It is one of my favorite animals. So, I just wanted to throw that out there. I know I hate on the Owls a lot, but I actually like owls. So respect to Rice.
Have you ever seen an owl in person?
Hell yeah, I have.
Where do you do that?
I was sitting in my backyard one night, enjoying myself, maybe a little too much, and it was late. And I look up, there's a little tree over near my fence, and I look up and I'm like, what the hell? And it looked like something was looking at me.
Okay.
And I was like, what? And it was an owl. It was a big ass owl.
You say that, but that sounds like something 100 milligrams could do.
No. It was an owl. It was an owl. I love owls, man. I do. The ones.
Why do you love owls so much? You ever touched an owl? You ever had your hands on one?
I would love to. That's a dream. That's actually a dream of mine. I'm not even kidding. I would love to touch an owl. Yes. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It really is one of my favorite animals. I got an owl tattoo. I love owls, bro.
You have an owl tattoo?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Why do you have an owl tattoo? Are you OV-ho?
Yeah, I got all kinds of weird issues, dude. Yeah.
Are you OV-ho?
Mm-hmm.
Do you identify as
so.
OV-ho?
Maybe so.
Oh my God!
I liked Owls way before Drake. Come on.
Holy
God. He can't have that. He can't have that.
Bennett, man, listen, I've been willing to look past some of our differences. All right, like you're a January 6er. I'm not. I'm willing to look.
Not. No, I'm not.
You have extreme facial hair. I'm clean shaven. I'm willing to look at you like a AL East club. I like an NL East club.
Oh, let's go O's, baby.
I'm willing to look past some of our differences. But if you're OV-ho, that might be a bridge too far.
I'm not.
Are you OV-ho?
No, I swear to God, I'm not. Drake's not allowed to have that. People loved Owls way before Drake came around.
When did you get your owl tattoo, and can you prove it?
A few years ago. I don't want to prove it right now.
You're OV-ho. You're OV-ho.
Yeah, I guess so. It's not a Drake tattoo.
I don't know I didn't know this is what I was dealing with. I did notice every once in a while I'd be trying to talk about a rap beef, and you'd be looking at me like, all right, come on, let's move on to the Titans GM. I've noticed that. I've seen that, but I never really knew what it was rooted in. But you're OV-ho.
Okay, dude, you're acting like that. Like there's not University of Memphis branded gear with that logo on it.
Not at my house.
I'm just saying.
My kids are not allowed to
like him, man.
Yeah, colonizers and master manipulators and habitual liars too. My God. Oh, Bennett, you're OV-ho.
No, I'm not. I'm not at all. I like owls, okay? Again, Drake can't have that. Owls have been around for centuries, bro. Like, he can't have that.
In the year that you got an owl tattoo, the number one reason anybody else in the world would have gotten an owl tattoo would have been because they're OV-ho.
That's completely inaccurate.
You're the type of person. You're the type of the person who shows up at the Capitol on January 6th and is just like, oh no, I'm not really doing anything. I was just here to see I was just here. I'm not doing anything. Oh yeah, I just got an owl tattoo, but I'm not OV-ho. You're OV-ho.
All right, let's just go beat the Owls tonight.
I don't even know if you want to anymore. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't even know if you want to.
I do want to beat them.
Doesn't sound like.
Yeah, no, I do want to beat them. I'm trying to think. I'm really just trying to think of any other thing that I could possibly say about the Rice Owls that could get people excited about this game tonight.
Xavier in the chat says he bought some of Drake's Memphis gear, but he can't wear it now. Do you think that's a thing? Do you think there are people who have like OVO gear, and they're like, but I can't put it on right now? I have OVO gear. I actually have an OVO shirt. All right. But do you think there are people who would wear OVO 2 years ago, but just would not put it on today? I think there is. Xavier's one of them.
I'll wear it. Give it to me, Xavier.
Bennett, you will not wear it. Not in my presence.
I'll wear it.
You cannot be OVO.
I don't give a crap. I don't
Bennett,
care.
Bennett, I know I don't own you, and I can't be involved in what you do in your own life. But in my presence, you can't be OVO. I can't deal with that. I can't let my sons know that I work with an OVO supporter. I don't want my kids knowing that. I don't want my kids. To Xavier's point, I'm similar to this with Yeezys. I cannot put on Yeezys at thousands of dollars worth of shoes that I can't wear.
Well, do they even make them anymore? They're not even really a thing anymore, are they? Are they still doing that? Adidas bought it from him. They bought it from him, right?
Yeah, but people. But
yeah, so I mean, whatever. People still buy those.
Yeah, but I'm not. You can't. I don't think I would not feel comfortable wearing those and having people. I mean, I'm already driving around in a Tesla. I already feel like I'm already.
Let's call your ass to the table, buddy.
Put on my Yeezys and jump in my Tesla.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm part of the problem.
Look at you ruining our country.
Maybe I'm part of the problem.
No, Teslas are great for the environment.
Are they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
what
they say. That's what they say.
It's tough, man. It's tough. You know what? We all got our conflicts, I guess. I guess we've all got our conflicts, right? Hey, let's keep it simple. Let's go beat some Owls tonight. Can we agree on that at least?
Yeah, let's go beat some Owls tonight. Yeah, no drama. Like, that was the great thing about that last game, which was ironically against Owls, was that there was just no drama. Like, again, like we've had a lot of these AAC, and I think that just happens in conference play in general. No matter how good of a team you are, you get caught up in these games that, yeah, you're way better than the team, but you maybe just weren't game planning for them right. For whatever reason, that they get caught up in these close games with crappy AAC teams. Like, it was good to see in that FAU game that there was just none of that. They just handled it easily, and hopefully we'll see that tonight.
Hopefully we'll see that tonight. Memphis and Rice, 7 o'clock inside FedEx Forum.
Don't be talking trash about me, bro. Mm-hmm. That's God making you choke up right there.
The Tigers. Norlander said on the Iron College Basketball Podcast, sometimes I'll be talking about, like, BYU's resume. It sounds like I'm getting choked up, like I'm getting emotional about it.
They're so good.
It sounds like I'm getting choked up and I can't talk about.
That's how we feel about Rice.
Yeah,
those aren't happy tears.
The Tigers are 13.5-point favorites tonight. We'll see how it goes.
Number 2.
Georgia upset Florida last night, 88-83. To add a quadrant 1 victory and perhaps jump from first 4 out to last 4 in. Jerry Palm, as of this morning, hasn't updated his bracket yet, but I imagine when he updates, Georgia would jump from first 4 out to last 4 in, and that would mean the SEC right now is projected to get 13 teams into the 2025 NCAA tournament, and frankly, everybody in the SEC except LSU and South Carolina are now very reasonable, at-large candidates for the NCAA tournament. In other words, the SEC, based on current projections, would probably get 13, but could very easily get 14. And the record is only 11 by the Big East. So, barring a surprise, this really is going to go down in history as the greatest men's basketball conference in the history of college athletics. And though that result last night might have knocked Florida off of the 1 seed line, at least for now, it probably knocked Georgia into the bracket. And I would consider that a net positive for the SEC if you're really trying to make history. Bennett, as a Memphis fan, I know you hate playing nothing games after another in the AAC, but the other extreme is, I mean, you got to play these types of games every single night in the SEC. And my God, you can go on a 3-game losing streak, even if you're a top 10 team in America.
Yeah. I mean, no, I would welcome that. Like, I want that. Let me take you a sip while I'm talking. I was trying to get to a point where I could ask you literally anything so that I could do this. No, I would take that any day. I would love to be in a league where you can take a bad loss and be able to make it up the very next game and eliminate that. I would give anything for that. In fact, I'm looking like they really might give. I mean, dude, you look at these SEC standings. Oklahoma's plays Kentucky tonight. They're only 2.5-point underdogs. Like, if they win, they're right back there. They're right back in it too. They really might get 14 teams.
They could get the only teams that have no chance are South Carolina and LSU. Everybody else has got a reasonable chance to make the NCAA tournament, including John Calipari's Razorbacks. Nice win for Georgia last night. And, oh, by the way, not just a nice win for Georgia over a top 5 team, but Georgia's coach is Mike White, who used to be Florida's coach.
That's right.
Before last night, he was 0-6 against Florida since taking the Georgia job. Lost to him twice in year 1, 3 times last season, and once earlier this season. 0-6 entering last night's game against his former employer, but he gets a big win last night.
Yeah.
Congrats to Mike White. Congratulations, the SEC. You seem on track to make history.
Number 3.
It happened again, Bennett. It happened again, this time in Chicago. We had another collision. Nearly. Another collision. Nearly. A commercial airline, big plane, is landing, and you see a private plane coming across the runway, and it has to get back into the air to avoid what would have been a fatal collision. Watch this. Look at this. Everything's good.
Sick piloting right here.
Sick piloting.
I'm a Southwest guy.
Now go. Now, we got to pull up. You got to pull up. Do you realize if they were not going fast enough to pull up or wouldn't have been aware enough to pull up, everybody's dead? It would have hit that plane.
That's impressive, dude. Those wheels are touching. That's impressive maneuvering right there. Give that pilot a raise, damn it.
Have you ever been on a plane that's done that?
Like almost touchdown? No, yeah. I haven't.
I did it once in Charlotte, and it was because of wind. It was, at least I thought it was because of wind. I always assumed it was because of wind because it was very windy. It could have been because we were about to smash a private plane. I don't know. But I just remember it being very windy, and we were landing like this, and it was just kind of wild. And it was a weird feeling because you're going – it's like literally what you just watched is what I experienced. You think you're about to touch – you were expecting the wheels to hit the ground. You're looking out the window, and then the plane just jerks up really quickly. And the explanation was that the wind had pushed us too far down the runway, and we didn't have enough runway left to – yeah. So they had to go back up, and then circle back around and then come back and land. But anytime something happens in a plane that you are not expecting, it is at least briefly startling. And those passengers on that plane probably had no idea what was happening. Because you understand, you're looking out your side windows. You can't see that plane in front of you. Only the pilots and the air traffic controller, who, by the way, called it out. Everybody was doing their job except for the people on the private plane, it appears. Because they were told to stop it. They just did not stop. Everybody was doing their job except them. But the passengers on that plane could not see that. They didn't know what was happening in real time.
Right. Yeah, you don't see in front of you. Yeah, that's, man, I've obviously been reading up a lot about this stuff because it's crazy that all these, near accidents or obviously fatal accidents have happened at recent memory. But I did see that some articles said this stuff has always happened. We're just talking about it a lot now because of those big crashes that happened. Like, it's not. Right? Yeah.
Right after the helicopter crashed into the plane over the Potomac, within days, there was a podcast I listened to where a reporter who has been covering airlines and air travel for a long time was the guest. And she explained, I've had sources telling me for years, this is just a matter of time because we don't have enough air traffic controllers. Mm-hmm. Our airspace is too congested in certain places. And we were having close calls, if not literally every day, nearly every day. And the idea that what happened over the Potomac, the idea that it took this long for something like that to happen in the United States in recent years is just luck more than anything else. Mm-hmm. We were always headed this direction. There are close calls every day. You just don't hear about them. You just don't know about them. And now we are starting to, I think, be more aware that this is airline travel, commercial airline travel in the United States is immensely safe. But some of that is tied to luck. We've been lucky. And that was another example yesterday. Gonzaga's team plane was almost involved in a very similar situation to what you just watched earlier this season. So still incredibly safe, but it'd be nice if these close calls would stop happening. Like, this gets in your head. This is real. This is, as somebody who travels a lot, like I can watch that video and still walk away from it going, flying home tomorrow will be the safest thing that I do tomorrow. But I also know that those people almost died on an airline yesterday. Like that, if not for those pilots being great at their jobs, a lot of people would have died yesterday. And that's kind of a weird thing to have in your head because it's not something that used to be in my head.
Okay, I just Googled how much does an air traffic controller make. Maybe Kyra just said they make bank. It doesn't. It says that right here, like $50K in Tennessee. That can't be right. This has got to be wrong.
I don't know what's right, but I'll say this: based on everything I've read, everything I've learned, we need more of them, and we should probably pay them more.
We should probably pay them more. I think that's wrong. What I just looked up. I think that's wrong.
And why we're on the subject of government spending, more teachers and pay them more as well. I'd like to have more teachers
and more air traffic controllers.
Yeah, more teachers in our public schools and more air traffic controllers telling our planes where to go and where not to go, and pay all them more. Like, yeah, hey, wherever we're saving all these billions of dollars that Elon and everybody seems to be saying they're saving, let's take some of that money and give it to air traffic controllers and public school teachers. Let's triple their salaries and triple the numbers. And I don't know, that seems like a good place to start. Be careful out there, Bennett. Be careful.
All right.
Number 4.
Titans general manager Mike Borgonzi has said he's taking calls about the number 1 pick in the draft. And, he's listening to what everybody has to say. Bennett, as a Titans fan, how do you feel about Mike Borgonzi taking calls about the number 1 pick? Do you want them to try to shop the pick for the best deal available, or just take me a quarterback?
I just am disgusted. I was so excited to get the number 1 overall pick in this draft. It's just something positive to come after the disastrous season that the Titans just had. And by all accounts, this is like the worst NFL draft of all time. I mean, it makes me want to puke, dude. It really does. We're never going to get the number 1 pick again. And this team has been desperate for a franchise quarterback since Steve McNair. And it's just, it appears it's not going to happen. Like, I've been following like the mock drafts and stuff, and like Mel Kiper's obviously got one of the most popular ones, and he's got them taking Abdul Carter, who might have a shoulder issue. We don't really know yet, but he's the consensus pick, it appears, for some of the big mock drafts, and I can't argue with that. Like, again, I don't want to draft a quarterback that's not going to be a potential future Hall of Fame quarterback or someone that can win a Super Bowl. But it just sucks being in this situation that you're in this draft where you're a franchise that desperately needs a quarterback, and it appears that like the people are just kind of meh on the top quarterbacks. Like they're
But here's the thing: people don't know. People don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
If I would have told you last year, like let's say this, Bennett. If I would have said, Bennett, last year the Titans have the number 1 pick in the draft. All right, and I'm going to give you Jaden Daniels. You would not have been excited about that. You would have said, really? Is Jaden Daniels the best quarterback I can get out of this draft? Man, what a weak class. God, what a bad year to have the number 1 pick. If I would have given you Jaden Daniels last year, you would not have been excited about that. But if you had Jaden Daniels right now, you would be excited about that. Am I right?
Right. No, that's very true. That's very true. I mean, listen, I have said all along, keep the pick, draft one of the quarterbacks, and I know who I think I would want, but you got to make the decision.
Bennett, you got to make the decision. Go on record. Who do you want?
I still think I want Shador. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't know, man. I would not be shocked if we look up next season and he's like awesome for the Jets or something. I like Shador. That's who I would take. But that's not going to happen.
Well, hey, I'll be rooting for you, okay?
I don't feel good about where this is heading, man, at all. Like, I was so excited about getting that number 1 pick, and now I'm just not really excited at all about the draft. What I would not do, though, is trade down. Like, come on, man. You got the number 1 pick. I know this team needs a lot. Just draft the best player. Just draft the future Hall of Famer. That's what you have to do. That's your job, Mike. Like, that's why we hired you. You got to.
That's your job.
Yeah, draft the best player. Honestly, at this point, with as depressing as this whole thing is looking like it's going to go, just I don't care if it's a quarterback. Just freaking draft the best player, and I'll take it. Just please make sure they're a future Hall of Famer.
Hey, I'm going to be rooting for you. I'm not stressed about it. It ain't none of my business. I've got Juan Soto, so I'm not stressed about anything right now. I've got Juan Soto. But I'll be rooting for you to get this right. I hope you get it right, Bennett.
Yeah, me too.
Number 5.
Congratulations to Joy Lee McNellis on announcing her retirement after what will be her 21st century at Southern Miss. Of course, she is the former women's basketball coach at the University of Memphis. She got the job in advance of the 1991-92 season and stayed at Memphis until the end of the 2003-2004 season when she went back home to Mississippi to be the head coach at Southern Miss. So this is a woman who was the coach of the Lady Tigers, while I was in high school, coach of the Lady Tigers while I was in college, coach of the Lady Tigers in my early years at the Commercial Appeal. My point being that one of the first college coaches I ever spent real time with was Joy Lee McNellis. Like, at this point, given where my career has taken me, it's my job to be around college coaches. But one of the first college coaches I ever met and, got to talk to on a first-name basis, that was Joy Lee McNellis. And I've been able to keep in touch with her periodically over the years, on social media. And for any Memphian who has followed her, not just her career, but her life, that the last few years have not been the simplest. She's battled cancer diagnoses and done it all with the just bravest face and strongest faith. And just for her to spend so many good years at Memphis doing great things on that campus, and then so many good years back in her home state of Mississippi at Southern Miss, to be able to walk away, because we didn't know, exactly how her career was going to end. She's had some terrible news delivered to her by doctors in recent years, but she has fought and stayed positive, and just the idea that she got to continue coaching all the way through February and what will be March of 2025 is just awesome. And as accomplished as a basketball coach as she's been, and all of the wins and all of the accolades, I can just tell you, as somebody who first met this woman when I was a lot younger, and got to be around her and watch her work, but more than that, just got to watch her be around people, how she treated people. I just have always held her in high regard. When you get your first press badge or press pass, even if it's for the Daily Helmsman, you feel like you're sort of a big deal, even if in the grand scheme of things you're not. But you feel like you're in these press conferences and at these games, and this is where you've sort of dreamed of going, and now you're here, and you try to act like you belong, but deep down you don't know if you do. And deep down, you're just really hopeful that anybody will treat you like you do. And I will say that when I was a college student, the football coach was Rip Shearer, and the women's basketball coach was Joy Lee McNellis. And I also dealt with Tick Price and Johnny Jones, and Tick was fine, and Johnny I actually enjoyed a lot. But I can't say enough about Rip and Joy Lee. They just treated me like I was something other than a college student asking stupid questions and writing not so good stories. They always made time for me and always treated me like a professional, even when I wasn't, even when I was clearly just, at least in my own head, faking it. And so just when I saw the news come across yesterday, I was just happy that she was able to coach all the way through the 2025 season, because it was not guaranteed for her and didn't even seem like a likely scenario not too long ago. So I know there's a lot of people in Memphis who are still tight with Joy Lee, still have followed her career and watched her battle through this just incredible journey. And so I just did want to spend a few minutes on her. She was a very important person in this community for a long time, and I hope her retirement is just as awesome as her career has been. Be back with GP's Carryout.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
Behind the back to Jared for the flush.
We're going to need, the Forum rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support. When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane 3. Yes, sir. Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. One exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. Bit of Doyle back in Memphis inside the Built Ford Tough Studio, FedEx Forum. Let's wrap this up. GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly focused on your Memphis Grizzlies after a fun, entertaining victory last night in overtime inside FedEx Forum over the Phoenix Suns. Ja Morant got the bucket toward the end of regulation to send it to overtime, and then he made one big play after another in the overtime period to lift the Grizzlies to a win over the #disappointing Suns. Never know exactly what can be a turning point, but whether it was the plays Ja was making on the court, the end of regulation overtime, or the way he talked about all of it in the locker room afterward, I just thought it was all encouraging stuff. Big win with the Knicks coming to town on Friday night. Should be a awesome matchup between the teams that are currently second in the West and third in the East. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com.
Yes, by the way, GP, we have a very cool giveaway on Friday night. It is the Grizz block set. And I have one that has been put together. Now, if you're a parent who wants to bash your head through a wall anytime your kids want to put together a Lego set with you, this is the giveaway for you. It is pretty cool, though, once you get it all put together, but I'm counting, there's like 200 pieces in this thing, 200 pieces.
Is Noah into Legos?
Yeah, oh yeah, we love doing the Legos now, yeah.
My middle guy is really into it. Like
he's excited about this one. He's excited about that. I got one at home. We're gonna put it together this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to grab a couple too because
Kyra said this took her 2 hours to put together.
Kyra did it.
Yeah, I don't know if she did this one, but yeah.
Okay,
she
I'm
did
too
this
impatient,
one. Yes,
but like my middle guy, I love it because he's at an age where he's PS5ing and VR headsets and iPadding. But he will break away from all of it to sit down and do a sophisticated Lego thing. He'll sit down for 2 hours and do Legos.
It's a great accomplishment. You do feel a sense of accomplishment when you finish putting together a Lego set. There's no question about it.
I think that's true, but I like this giveaway. We're going to be able to get it on Friday night?
We're going to be able to get it on Friday night before the Knicks game. Oh, yes, there's 437 pieces. So if you're looking for something to do with your kids this weekend, parents, come to the game on Friday, get this, and then I got the rest of your weekend planned out.
What do you mean you got the rest of the weekend planned out?
Well, you could just be working on this.
It's not going to take us the whole weekend, Bennett. We can do it in 2 hours, you said.
I think I could do it in under 2 hours.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at Legos, man. I'm pretty good at Legos.
Do you know how to separate your pieces?
Yeah, I'm now the problem that you run into with like little kids is you put something together and then they start playing with it and then it breaks apart and then you lose the instructions and then you just have like this big box full of just like Legos that you can't do anything with. Yeah, well,
you're always going to end up with a big box of Legos you can't do anything with, except hurt your feet when you step on them. That's going to happen. No, you assemble your Lego piece, and then you put it on the shelf, and you admire your accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm going to put this one on the shelf.
Yes, that goes on a shelf. That might need to go on a shelf.
This is Kyra's. I'm not going to put I'm going to put my own together. I'm going to put my own together, and then I'm going to put it on the shelf behind me. But yeah. Come out Friday night, get you a Lego set, a Grizz block set. I don't think you're allowed. It's a Grizz block set. It's a Grizz block set is what I call it.
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to say that other word.
It's a Grizz block set.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Right. Great promotion, Bennett. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
What's today's biggest game?
We're doing college basketball. I'm going to take you down to Neville Arena, Auburn, Alabama. We talked to Bruce Pearl earlier in the week. Top-ranked team in the country. They're 25-2, 13-1 in the SEC. They got the Ole Miss Rebels coming to town. It's a 6 o'clock tip on ESPN2. Auburn is a 13.5-point favorite. The total is 153.5. Think about this. Here's how good Auburn is. Mm-hmm. Auburn is favored by the same number of points over Ole Miss tonight that Memphis is over Rice. And Memphis is a top 20 team. That is not to be interpreted as a criticism of Memphis. That's how good Auburn is. Ole Miss has been ranked much of this year, and Auburn is expected to beat them by 14 points tonight.
Interesting you chose this game. It's not like Ole Miss has been in the news lately about anything.
Woo! Buddy.
A lot going on that campus.
I did my best to follow that last night. I mean, I've read everything I could find.
Allegedly.
Man, buddy.
Allegedly.
Woo, man.
Wild times at Ole Miss.
Wild times at Ole Miss. And I'm not here to judge unless I know the whole story. But, buddy, I feel like at least I feel like multiple people have made poor decisions.
If you want to know why I will never quit Twitter, point to that right there. You
Mary
point to
Kate.
that right there.
Mary Kate, huh?
That was a good time. That was a good time on social. I know we've talked a lot about social media today. You know, Ja talked about social media and how he's sick of it. I will say that made for a great time on social media last night. They did.
Bennett, I will say that I got out of studio at 1:30 a.m. and at that point still have to do the top 25 and 1. Still have to prepare for the Eye on College Basketball podcast. Still have to prepare for this podcast. I've got a lot of work to do, and it's already 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And yet, I couldn't help myself. Before I could do anything, I had to Twitter search Mary Kate and find out everything I could find out. And, buddy, I found out a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel that's a hard thing to come back from for anybody, I think. I think that's a hard one for anybody to come back from.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard one to explain to your grandkids one day.
I don't think anybody comes out of this one looking good, you know? And I've seen some people all right.
I mean, it doesn't sound like the son did anything.
Well, it sounds like the son went back to the girl.
That's a good point.
And let me be clear about something. Everybody
Allegedly.
can handle their own relationships however you want to handle your own relationships. Relationships are difficult. And, man, you should just do the best you can do. And whatever conclusion you reach, if it makes sense to you and another person, that's good enough for me. I don't need to know anything. All right?
Okay.
Life's hard. But your dad, in theory, if you get back with this woman, you're hoping that the relationship goes somewhere. And maybe if it keeps going somewhere, you're engaged someday and then you're married someday. And now, that's just a hard wedding, you know? It's your dad. It's not your friend. It's not somebody you grew up with. It's not the guy she worked with at the bar or accounting firm. It's your father. It's just tough. I'm not judging, man, because, we all got our stuff, but I don't think anybody comes out of this great. It's not wonderful for anybody.
It's not.
And the only one I've seen people like really be sort of like, all right, I see you, Pops. But even that is like, we've all made mistakes. But that just seems like a big one. Your son's college-age girlfriend? Seems like a big one.
You know, I will say who does come out on top in this situation, I think it's going to be the Ole Miss basketball team tonight. I'm going to take them to cover because they've lost 2 in a row. We think this is a good basketball team. It's an NCAA tournament team. I think they're rejuvenated by this story that is sweeping the nation. I think there's some juice on that campus. I know we're going to Auburn, but I feel like there's some level of excitement, and I feel like that these guys are going to bounce back. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they're going to cover. Is it 13.5? Do I get the half point?
Yeah.
Give me the Rebels.
I don't know if anybody comes out of this looking okay. You know, there's a lot of characters involved, and they've all made some. This feels like a White Lotus episode, you know?
Dude. Could you imagine instead of going to a tropical environment, let's go to Oxford next season.
Let's go to Oxford next season.
Let's go to Oxford next season. We've got the story.
I mean, I even started doing Google searches, and I found buddies like baseball online. Like, you know how like if you kid plays baseball, they might online have a baseball page and it tells you who they play for.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that and I'm seeing all these people tweeting at this guy, and it's a tough situation, Bennett. I don't wish it on nobody.
I don't wish it. No. I
don't wish it on nobody.
I don't either.
Ole Miss plus 13.5. That's what Bennett says.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we explained it.
Yeah.
What's the best thing we've read?
Oh, no, we got to watch something first.
What are we watching on TV?
Man, I wish there was a documentary on Mary Kate on television.
There will be. We'll get some kind of doc at some point.
Seriously, if Netflix dropped a documentary on Mary Kate next week, it would be the #1 show in the world.
It would, without question, be the #1 show in the world.
I would call in sick tonight so I could sit home and watch it.
We would open the show on it. There's no doubt about it.
They didn't do it, so they haven't done it yet.
We'll see.
But they do have Full Swing. Season 3 of Full Swing on Netflix dropped this week. It apparently has the Scotty Scheffler, not apparently, it definitely has the entire Scotty Scheffler arrest sequence, like, caught on Netflix cameras. So even as a golf fan, I just haven't gotten into the Full Swing stuff. It just hasn't captured me the way other documentaries have. But if you're interested, just know that the new season is available, and Scotty Scheffler's in handcuffs, and you can find it Netflix.com.
What's the best thing we've read?
Well, I don't know if it's the best, but I wrote about the ACC in the top 25 and 1 just because I know, at least I think, everybody understands Duke's running through the ACC. Just like on their way to a 1 seed, nobody can play with them. They're running through the league, but they're not running away with the league. Louisville and Clemson are only 1 game back of them in the loss column of the league standings. And it's because half the league stinks. Half the league is 100 or worse in the net. So it's true Duke's not threatened by other teams in this league. But even Clemson and Louisville, borderline top 25 teams, are not threatened by other teams in the ACC because the rest of the ACC is just bad. They've got to get these hires right at Virginia, Miami, Florida State, because that league has gone from the best to not even a top 4 league in college basketball anymore. So if you want to read about that, you can find it at cbssports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Thursday. We're 1 day closer to Grizzlies Knicks. Mike Wallace, senior editor, Grind City Media. He'll join me. We'll talk all things NBA with him. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. We're going to meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.